I think something that's really relevant right now is like just reflecting on where we're at when it comes to seeing other people's point of views. Because it's almost like shocking to me how far we've gone in the wrong direction. In some ways, it should be easier than ever to see things from an opposing perspective. You can go on YouTube and find hour-long video essays on on every specific detail of an ideology that you may disagree with. Um, Yet there seems to be this sort of polarization going on that only leads to only leads to hatred, right? It's just it's disappointing to see that we have the tools at our disposal to be more unified than ever, but instead of taking advantage of that, it's this person disagrees with me. They are evil. They are completely wrong. They don't know what they're talking about, and I think that it's just not giving enough credit to our peers, because at the end of the day, everyone is pretty much just like us, just trying to hold the opinions that they feel are best, that they feel yield the best results for their life and for the world, really. So I think that what's facilitating that disconnect in people when they look at their neighbor that holds a different opinion than them and they see a monster of some kind is some kind of wall. There's some kind of barrier, some kind of wall there, and I think it's clear what it is. It's it has to be the media, right? Because where else are people getting all their information if not the media? And so if you can't look at your neighbor as a person, be like, why? And if it's just because he disagrees with you, then what led you to that thought process, I suppose? And I could be wrong, but I feel like it has to be the media, because who else is just feeding people information constantly, nonstop? And in a way, it's kind of horrible because in that sense, they control the narrative of who you should hate, who you should like. Um, Sickening, and there we go. And in a way, it makes sense. I don't know if anyone listening has heard of Yuri Bezmenov, but I would really recommend listening to some of his interviews about ideological subversion. If you can imprint someone with something, a specific belief, let's say, and you do it hard enough and long enough and just consistently enough, essentially. His example is as children, but I believe that this can sort of be done whenever, to be honest, as long as it's consistent and persistent, especially. Don't believe your eyes, believe what I'm telling you. Then you can get people to just deny what they're seeing. They can overlook real life experience, essentially, for what you have told them. And I think that we have that on both sides right now, to be honest. Um, Go out and talk to someone who opposes with you. Most people are not ideological extremists. Most people are pretty normal, you know? You're not dealing with a Taliban member on your average, walk through the park. So this grunt is gonna get it. There we go. Um, but for some reason, we seem to believe that like everybody who disagrees with us has to be some sort of villain opposed to everything that is good and just in the world, instead of maybe they just hold a different perspective, which I believe is the more correct opinion, because people, I don't think at least, are inherently evil. And to hold the belief that anyone who disagrees with your opinions essentially is evil is to believe that people are inherently evil, and it's crazy. Um, I don't know. So I think that there's just that wall there that blocks so many people's vision, where they could, where they would otherwise be able to see that most people in the world are fairly, oh, that's a hunter, are fairly normal, fairly down to earth. They hold their beliefs rationally and for good reasons, typically, right? Um, but instead, the media acts like this blinder, these blinders in front of our eyes that that say, no, 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 this is what the world is. Look around. And in a way, it, it's understandable why people are so susceptible to think that way because we're more interconnected than ever, right? When you're looking at media in the okay, that's not good. When you're looking at media in the United States, they could be reporting on something, 10 states away from you and all the way across the country. And because of that, we can sometimes hear these stories, I think, and just be like, oh, it's going on all around the country. Maybe not in my community, but everywhere else. It's horrible. It's terrifying. They're all Nazis. They're all evil. And also that word has been beaten to death. It's insane. Um, but I think that's also a part of it, right? We can connect because of the internet. We can connect with people that hold opinions very different to our own. Probably, oh no, probably because their lives are very different to our own. Someone living in New York City, compared to like some guy living on a farm where he grows crops or whatever. I don't know. They're gonna be living two very different lives with two very different views. And the ability for them to clash opinions on the internet is very interesting because it means that, oh, now you can hate someone who disagrees with you, all the way across the country. Yippee! Isn't that fun? And a lot of these internet interactions mean that you'll never see what their life is, why they believe the way that they do. It's just well, yeah, I hate you now because you and I disagree. Sorry, bud. Shocking, shocking. But it seems like those blinders are very efficient. Well, to be honest, it seems like they're going away now. I feel like legacy media is having less and less trust from the. Oh God, are you just chilling out there? That's a grenade. That is bad. This is not good. Oh hell. Um, I feel like legacy media is losing some trust because people can feel that they're rage baiting, and the rage bait is not just in the legacy media. Now that I mention it, it's it's social media too. It's all these places that they care about your engagement, and maybe they have ulterior motive. I don't know. I don't want to go that far. I don't want to be some conspiracy theorist that they're trying to push their ideals on you. But um, okay, wow, that is unfortunate. Um, but I think that the reason of them just wanting engagement and essentially clickbait, and people tend to respond to things that make them angry, that's enough. That is enough for them to spread a narrative, let's say, that everybody is evil except you. Oh my God. Not feeling that. Not feeling that at all, actually. We're not dealing with that. Um, I think that's enough of a reason to not trust them because where are their interests? They're not with us. Why would they be with us? Um, So yeah, but the ability to disagree with someone who's so far away from you just makes it easier to not like beforehand. If you're just interacting with people in New York City or on the farm living the same life as you, there's a good chance your life is going to be pretty similar. But the ability to interact with everyone, everyone of all walks of life, is somehow a gift and a curse because people don't know how to handle it. Don't know how to handle that responsibility. It shouldn't even be a responsibility. You should be able to take into the perspective of people around you very easily. At least I think. Um, whenever you hear an opinion that seems like sensationalized or something, and you hear it from the oh, I'm trapped. Okay, and let's say you hear it from the media, think about that and be like, okay, well, the people believing that opinion probably have a reason if it's that crazy, or maybe it's not. The media can sensationalize things and probably will, whatever's in their interest. Um, how am I going to take out these fences? That's the question. Okay. And echo chambers are a huge part of this, right? Because when you're in an echo chamber, you're definitely not interacting with people who share ulterior opinions, and so you're able to just sink further and further into this group of people that will only that's not that will only move your beliefs further and further into the pit where they're rooted, I guess, is the way I would put it. Uh, where'd they go? Oh, yeah, there they are. Maybe I can get one of them to shoot the other. That would be nice. Please. Yes. No. And so it's echo chambers are more prevalent than ever because of social media and in these places where where they'll show you things that you hate, and then you'll see a bunch of people around you with agreeing views, right? It's these posts that agree with you and are sensationalizing things that your group think it's supposed to hate. Um, so it's easier than ever to just fall into that opinion of like, oh, everybody must agree with me. And then when you can turn the opinion that disagrees with you into a minority as well, it's a lot easier to hate them because you're like, oh, everybody's on my side. No, no, they're not. I mean, we've seen it over the past elections, how tight they've been. We know that a lot of the mainstream ideologies, at least, are very different, but they're very equally spread. Let's say. Um, wow, I cannot melee him for anything. It's unfortunate. Go. And then I guess I wasn't planning on bringing up the election, but since I have, I should also mention it's kind of the point of democracy that there are opinions that don't agree with you. One of the core premises of democracy is actually that people will not agree with you, but we have to protect their opinions too, right? Freedom of speech, you don't really need it if everybody thinks the same way and everybody agrees with you. That's that's stupid. Why would you need it to protect people that already agree with you? You're not going to go after them. You love their opinions. Jesus, that guy took a beating. Oh, their shields can absorb that? That's wild. I'm so cooked though. That's unfortunate. Maybe I'm not. Yeah, freedom of speech and freedom of expression are there to protect things that you don't agree with. And I think that sometimes we forget that. We forget that the key parts of a democracy is that everybody, even the people you don't agree with, get their opinion. And everybody, even the people you don't agree with, get their vote. And so sometimes you won't get your way, right? And it's about handling that like a mature adult that knows how to handle hardship, right? Um, Sometimes you're not the prevailing opinion, and you have to accept it, right? Um, you know? And what's the fun if everybody agrees with you? Things get boring, man, right? Come here, bud. Oh, you bastard. I need a plasma pistol. That's mine. Okay. I'm just gonna let my shields regen. And so I think that's just been forgotten, and I hate to see it really, because it's such a crucial part of what makes America and other democracies special, right? Is that you're free to express yourself. Um, I can say things people don't agree with, but it's part of the game that I'm allowed to say that, I guess. Um, and the feeling that you can just take that away from someone is it's also very easy to lead into that. Okay, I'm done. They're okay. Well, at least the tank's gone. That's what matters. So, yeah, but it's when you close it off to it's when you close it off from debate and you're like instead of wanting to debate them, you've already written their ideas off as evil, essentially. Um, oh, oh my God. Yeah, when you've written we're just going to ignore that. When you've written your opponents off as evil already, you're not going to debate with them. There's going to be no change in anyone's opinions. You have to be, if you're not open to change, that also kind of kills democracy and freedom of speech, right? Because it's like talking to a brick wall. Sure, I have freedom of speech, but the effect would be the same if I was silent, you know? Um, so for democracy to work, you have to be open to change and you have to understand that people hold opinions for valid reasons, right? Um, okay, I thought I had more lunch. Unfortunate. There we go. Come here. Come here. Man, they're just lambs to the slaughter, I guess. Oh, why? What did I do to deserve this? Am I trapped? Oh, so I was standing there. 'Cause, yeah, there. So then let's say that there's okay, that there's two crucial parts, right? It's It's the ability to speak your mind freely, even when it's not the prevailing opinion. But that's only important when you can convince people otherwise, right? When you can convince people to come over to your side, then hopefully in the market of ideas, your idea wins and proves that it's the best, right? Um, and that's so it's not just the idea of like I can say whatever I want, I guess. There's components to it, and that's why echo chambers and demonizing your opponents all add to this unhealthy social space, right? Um, ah, there we go. There's still a hunter somewhere around here. I'm choosing to ignore it. There we go. Now, let's see about a hunter, I guess. And so it just seems like we've gone so far away from that, you know? It, you have to be open. You have to be like, I feel like if you enter a debate with the idea, even if you're like the most hardened in your beliefs, whatever, you enter a debate with the idea, this person might have something that they can teach me. This person might have a reason for their beliefs that can help me adjust my perspective to get even closer to let's say, the Overton window perspective. Um, that would be most appealing to the most amount of people, I suppose. Um, and then if you enter a debate like that, maybe you'll have less animosity or opponent. Oh my God, how many times has that guy killed me? You might have less animosity to your opponent, and you could even make a friend. That's the other thing. Where have friends with opposing ideas gone? It seems like everybody, like I said, echo chambers. Everybody is just sucked in to their own ideas, and you can't even be friends with someone. Like, I don't know. I've This could be entirely wrong, but I've heard from older family members, older people that I know. There was a time when, I really what I'm there was a time when knowing someone with differing politics wasn't like an end of a friendship. Democrats, Republicans, everybody could be friends with everybody could be friends with each other. Um, and that's how you get the marketplace of ideas to work at its finest, when everybody is able to convince anybody, essentially, I think. Um, but no, what I was going to say beforehand was, oh my God, I swear I'm going to run out of lives like this, and this is not good. This is bad. Um, what I was going to say before that little tangent was, this doesn't just apply to politics. I think it's just most relevant to politics now because that seems to me the most dividing thing at the moment. But it should really apply to everything, right? You can have an opinion on like your favorite car brand. I don't care. But if you go in a debate, like let's say you're a Chevy lover, right? And you go and you debate like a Ford lover or something. Like you can even go into that and be like, well, this person probably has some opinions for that substantiate their claims, right? Oh, you flew, brother. Oh my God. And now I'm not going to kill him. There we go. Messy, but fine, I guess. Um, you can take this into anything, and then maybe you'll change your opinion, or maybe that you'll change their opinion. Because if you're both open-minded, then there's a point in talking. When you're not both open-minded and you're closed off, whatever sources you may have that shaped your opinion, or whatever opinions you may have are just concrete, um, then nothing's going to change. So take this into everything, essentially. Politics is just what it's most relevant to right now, I think. But I think we would see a lot of improvement in the ideas that govern the country on both sides if this were taken into politics. Because then you could take the best of both sides and see it become, maybe see it become something better. In my mind, I was thinking about this earlier, and this is what kind of prompted it. I thought the two parties butt heads so much that it's kind of just like a team sport where the goal is to knock out the other guy, just beat him down so hard he can never come back. When I think the like free market economy is the best example, right? If we had two parties that were both competing to give us the best experience and not two different experiences, essentially, then you would have better competition. Like, let's say they were both competing to be like, give us the fewest taxes and the most like benefits or something, um, but without like raising the deficit. Like, I don't know, something like that, where they're competing to to give the people the most. Then we would have this situation where it's like a free market economy. Everybody would go to the party that is able to offer them those things. But instead, it feels like you're just playing a team game and you're like, I hold this set of beliefs, so this is my only option. I have no other option. And then they can kind of do whatever you want. The government is the best case for the free market economy I've ever seen in my life. You have let's say in the free market economy, you have a bunch of people making medical supplies, and they want the most business, so they have to compete to make the cheapest product that is still the best, right? Yet, let's say the government needs to make medical supplies. All right, the horrible disaster happens somewhere in the world, and they need to make medical supplies to supply it, to provide aid. What you're going to see from the government is them taking their time because no one's on their back to do it. There's no competition. It's just them. They'll get to it when they get to it. Um, I don't know. That's more personal ideology, but instead of competing ideologies, it feels like in any belief, it turns into team sports. Like this even applies to what I was saying about your favorite car brand. If your favorite car brand is Chevy and some guy likes Ford, and instead of viewing it as like, oh, they're competing for our attention, they're competing to make the best car for the cheapest price that we can all love and enjoy and encourage other companies to make good products for good prices. And instead you view it as, nope, Ford is my team. I am never, I think I said Chevy before. Nope, Chevy is my team. Chevy is the end all be all. I am not ever changing from that. I'm going to like die on this hill, essentially. Um, then it becomes counterproductive, doesn't it? Um, because you're not aiming for any improvement. You're just treading water. I guess. You're not going to get anywhere, unfortunately. And I certainly hope that we can see a change where everybody can can come to the realization that their fellow human beings just want the best, like they do. They just want good things, um, and they seem to think that their opinions are the way to get them. And so maybe it's worth hearing them out. They could still be wrong. I don't know. In your opinion, they could still be wrong. But that's just what it is. It's everybody's opinion. Um, but that's probably where I'll call it. I think I've spoken enough.